for joining us. I'm Joy.
And I'm Laura.
And this is The Witches of Letters, a supernatural rewatch podcast.
Buckle up as we dive into Season 1, Episode 15, The Benders.
Okay, so what did you think?
This was a really good episode. It was very, disturbing, but it was a good episode.
It's so disturbing, isn't it? This one... So I was watching an interview with both of the boys, and they both said that I think Padalecki is the one who was like, this one is the scariest. But they both brought up the Benders when people asked them, what's the scariest episode to you? The Benders made it on both of their lists.
That's interesting.
And yeah, Jared said that it's because they're humans. He was like, human horror is way more terrifying than supernatural horror because it's so real. And then when I was doing research for the episode, I was like, it is real though. This is based on a true story. And it just gets worse and worse. Okay. It just gets worse and worse. The Easter egg for this episode is a creepy true crime Easter egg. So you true crime fans will be happy.
Yay. That's me.
Yeah. You'll be super happy. Carly's really excited about it. I was talking to her about it the other day because I found it and there was just all these gruesome facts and I was like, you know who would appreciate this is Carly. And I was like, Carly, I need to download some wild information to you because I have to tell someone and I can't spoiler this to Laura. And she was like, tell me everything. Tell me everything.
What about the real family?
Yeah, so I told her some snippets. So I don't want to spoiler it completely for either of you, but I'll give her little bits and pieces when it's true crime ones and I have to tell someone. So she's really excited for this episode. So cool. I know that all the scary loving true crime junkies will be like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when he said that Jared Padalecki said it was because it was human, and it's touched upon in the episode. I think Dean says something about demons he gets and humans he doesn't or something. And it's so true though, isn't it? Because could actually happen. It's really, humans being scary is definitely scarier than
it's
ghosts.
Real. It's real. It's really real.
Humans can actually hurt you.
I mean, that's why there are true crime podcast fans. Because 99% of that audience is women and 99% of those women are listening to it because they want to live.
Yeah.
They're getting survival tips on what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this whole episode just made me really uncomfortable the whole time, but it was so good to watch. We were watching this one together, weren't we? Because sometimes we watch them separately and sometimes we'll be WhatsApping each other as we're watching it at the same time. And as soon as it finished, I was like, I'm putting it on again. I watched it straight away again. I did fall asleep the second time, but because it was late. But I watched it 1.5 times in a row.
No, it's really good. It's a really, really, really good one. I know every time spooky season rolls around, the supernatural fans are always compiling their top. We have to watch this during spooky season episodes. And the Benders and Bloody Mary, in terms of season 1, are always in the top 5.
You'll have to remind me of that closer to Halloween because I want to do that. I want to watch the scariest episodes from season 1 because we'll probably be on season 2 by then. Scariest episodes of season 1 Halloween special.
Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode of a recap or something.
Yeah. You know how we like a film reference, or we like to compare things to other TV programs and films. So
I do, yeah.
This one I got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, obviously. It has vibes of that.
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere that someone was comparing it to Wrong Turn also, which I can see. I don't remember a lot of that film, but I remember there's 3 men in a cabin. So I think if that's the film I'm thinking of. And then there's an X-Files episode. So when we were watching it, we were talking about it being the X-Files episode, which I looked up and it's called Home in season 4. And it's the one with the creepy family. And there's 3 brothers who are murderers. And there's the weird, that's a disturbing episode as well. Because isn't it
really is.
They're impregnating their own mum or something. And they've kept keeping her under a bed.
It's horrific, and I think they cut her legs off as well. She's tied to this weird rolly thing.
Yeah, under the bed.
That episode is so high up on this is the creepiest episode for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but they reminded me of each other so strongly. I was like, Laura, you know what this is like? And she was like, what? And I was like, you remember that episode where that woman's tied to a fucking mattress and they bring her out for special occasions and their house is like this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a disturbing and creepy. I think that episode got banned at one point. I think I read that somewhere as well.
Me. Like, I'm really shocked it made it onto TV.
Yeah.
Because for TV, especially for back in the day, that has some highly graphic, highly disturbing content. Like, I know most of it, what's happening is just suggestion. We never really see anything, but even so.
Yeah.
Even so. That was a lot. Like, if you guys want to be well and truly disturbed and you don't remember that episode, go back and watch it because you will be so shook. So shook.
Yeah, definitely. It's like worse than this episode.
So my movie comparison is Deliverance.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually, like, there's some very dark Deliverance jokes in the script. Like, when, I have written it down, but when they're trying to save that guy who doesn't listen to them and just runs off to cut his own, and Sam's like, it's a trap. And he doesn't listen because he hasn't seen Star Wars. I don't know. He just runs straight into the trap. Yeah. So he makes a joke about it being he's waiting for his Bobby scene. And that's a horrifically dark joke from Deliverance because of what happens to Bobby in that movie.
I didn't get that reference.
So I will break it down for you guys when we get to that point in the script. But yeah, for me, it's like it's that X-Files episode and it's Deliverance heavy. And it gives me a little bit of like if Hannibal had no class. Just because there's elements of it that are sort of Hannibal related in terms of cannibalism and some of the horror, but like very, very loosely.
I was looking this up because I'm like, I've definitely watched it, but not for a while, and I couldn't remember what it was. And it's the banjo one, isn't it?
Yeah, the dueling banjos.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen it one time, and it traumatized me so much I've never watched it again. I was like,
"Oh, that was the reference to Ned Beatty."
Yeah, that's Beatty. It. Yeah,
how do you say that?
Because he plays Bobby. I think it's Beatty. Yeah.
So Ned Beatty. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what, because I'd written down that and I knew he was an actor, but I hadn't made that link. Yeah. Okay. I'm on board now.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Deliverance train. Next stop, trying not to get eaten and violated by hillbillies.
Should I do the synopsis?
Yes.
Okay, this is Season 1, Episode 15, The Benders. The original air date for this episode was February 14th, 2006. What a lovely episode for Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day! Valentine's Day? What is the tie-in? What were they thinking? Maybe one of the organs that we see in the jars is a heart, and they were going like OG, like Saint Valentine, like heart in a jar. The Roman Empire is executing him, and he's like, here, to my lovely spouse, I give you my heart to keep for always. That's great. It's just what I've always wanted, a gory reminder of your execution.
Okay. So, a young boy witnesses a man vanish into thin air one night. Sam and Dean assume it's some sort of monster to start with. Then Sam goes missing in the same way. Dean teams up with the local sheriff, whose brother also went missing a few years ago, to look for him. Their investigation leads them to a house belonging to the Bender family, who we find out are kidnapping people, then letting them free just so they can hunt them like animals. Officer Kathleen and Dean are separated, and Kathleen is captured and imprisoned with Sam. Dean tries to free them, but gets captured by the family too when he searches their property. Sam manages to escape and frees Kathleen. They all work together and manage to defeat the family and escape with their lives.
I watched that fight scene about 6-7 times because it's just so satisfying.
Yeah. The bit at the end, the end bit where they're like, where he ducks and shoots the dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Kathleen, okay, is a hardcore badass. I can't wait until we get to that part. We're going to talk about it a little bit more because I have notes, but like, wow,
I liked her.
You guys, in terms of fight choreography and just like things being insanely well done, like good fight scenes, this episode is peak. Okay. It is perfection. It's amazing. And when I was looking into the episode, one of the things that I saw was that all of these actors who play the Bender men have all had roles in horror features before, and I think pretty physical roles. So I think that we got this really sweet spot with Jared and Jensen, who obviously do a lot of action sequences, and then they're big dudes, probably been cast as bad guys several times, and like they're old hat at this, I think. And it's just so well done. Like my hat is completely off to the stunt crew and the actors because it looks so real. It's so brutal and so gritty, and it's just so satisfying. It's so good.
It is really good. You just reminded me when you said their names. One of my favourite fun facts of the episode, or not a fun fact, but my favourite thing was the fact that one of the sons is called Jared.
Oh yeah, we were watching it, and she's messing me, and she goes, "No," she goes, "Jared."
It's called Jared. He's trying to kill Jared.
Yeah, that was a little bit funny. Yeah, there's a line something like "Go get the light" or "Go get the gun" or something like that, but it's said really dismissively. It's like Jared. Like he is like the least one. So it just felt like it was banter. Like it felt like it was writerly banter to Jared Padalecki. And that was pretty entertaining. Not gonna lie. And considering the amount of banter that was on that show, I feel like that could be just a straight up real thing.
Are there any characters called Jensen, Leah?
Not to my memory. Not to my memory. They get him in other ways. Like they get him with stuff like scripting and that he has to eat food all the time, or he like has to do like stuff like that. That was their prank on him. So I don't know.
That's
but
funny.
I just like it would be so cool to be part of a set and a crew like that where everybody's playing and having fun all the time. Like that's that's so nice.
It is, but I've worked in theatre before, and it is like a crew because I was costume. And I have had moments like that where you do because you're just with each other so much, you do kind of become like a little family, and that's really nice. I've also had the opposite experience on shows as well, but most of the time it's like that, and it's nice.
I would never anger costuming. Those are the people with the pins and the scissors, people. Why would you? Oh, no.
So the opening scene, we see a young boy who's called Evan watching Godzilla, and he hears a noise outside, and he watches as a man who he calls Mr. Jenkins later on. Oh, and Joy called him a poor man's Ethan Hawke or something along those lines. When we were watching it, or did you know the Wish version of Ethan Hawke, wasn't it?
So Nick and I have this game that we play where we see an actor that reminds us of another actor, right? We'll say it's the Wish version of that person.
He did look a bit like him. I could see what you were...
I don't mean it to be a dick. I just mean like he looks a little bit like Ethan Hawke in certain at certain points in it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so that's a game that we play in, and now all our listeners know about it. So you guys can play that game with your friends and loved ones too, and tell each other who's a Wish version of who. There you go.
He does look a bit like Ethan Hawke. I could see what you meant. So anyway, he's taking some rubbish out, and he gets dragged under a car and disappears. And I had a question here because obviously when I was watching it the first time, I just assumed it was a monster like they do. But if it's those massive guys from the end, in the Bender family, are they just like laying under cars and dragging people under cars?
So my thought was like when they go to get that other guy, it looks like they like either harpoon him with ropes and then pull him backwards, or that they have some weighted something on the end of a rope. So I think they're using ropes. I think they're using some kind of rope to like lasso people's legs and then just pulling them.
Okay.
And he went backwards so fast. My assumption would be that it's tied up to, you have those rigs on trucks that like pull cables in super fast. I think it's tied up to something like that, and that's what he got yanked on. So
that
that's
makes
my
sense
theory.
because the sounds are coming from that janky old truck. So
yeah,
if that's nearby, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said my first thought is that this is a flashback and that the kid was Dean and the dad was John, because that's what I thought was going on. Because at first I kept thinking that it's like a son and a father. So, and that Dean was holed up in a motel watching Godzilla versus Mothra, which is the specific one. Very important. And he sees his dad taking out the trash, and it's super spooky, and there's steam coming up from all the grates like fog. Like, this is a very fog heavy episode. They used so much that I'm worried for people's health. Like, it was a lot of atmosphere. And then the dad is on his way back from throwing the trash away when he hears something, and the lights flicker. So they really set us up to think that it's a monster.
Yeah, they did.
And he gets on his hands and knees to look under the car to investigate. And there's an off-camera shot where he's looking, and then suddenly he's just yanked backwards. So it's like we hear part of it, so we sort of see it, and then we hear the rest of it, but we don't see every single thing. But he's screaming as he's just being yanked backwards really, really, really fast. And I remember thinking, if you were by yourself in a motel and there was spooky steam coming up from all the grates, and there was a fucking murder van across the way from you, would you really hear a noise and decide, yes, what I'm going to do right now is get on my hands and my knees and look under this car?
No, I would never have looked under the car.
You couldn't pay me.
But maybe that's because we are women who have consumed a lot of true crime content. Well, I have anyway.
Yeah. Well, so for me, what it is like, where I grew up, there were gangs who would hide under the car and then slice your Achilles tendon to steal your car. And people,
I thought that was an urban legend. Was that a real thing? Oh God!
Oh, no, that was a real thing in Florida. Like, people were really doing that in Florida. So I am so like, what about parking lots?
So then we cut to the next day, and the boy Evan is giving a statement to some deputies, and we don't know that it's Sam and Dean to start with because the camera angle is from above and they're wearing hats, so you can't see their faces. And then we do realise it's them, and I was like, "Ooh, hello."
I wrote down, hot damn, first priests, and now hot as fuck, like, state police uniforms. I was like, you're spoiling us, okay? They look amazing too, can I just say? They look incredible in these uniforms. And then I was like, sidebar, Dean probably hated this, because we all know how Dean feels about the police.
How he hates the police. And he has to work with the police. He works with the sheriff.
Yeah.
I'd say I thought Sam looked particularly good in this bit. I think there's something to do with his hair looked really nice as well.
I literally wrote down my next note. Sam is being super kind. Laura will love this and declare this to be a thirst trap.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh my God. So there's also the other thing that I loved in this scene was when Sam and Dean are talking to the mom and the son about what was happening. There is this one sequence that's like, I feel like it's a Stephen King reference, but it's so subtle. And it's that they're both wearing the exact same outfit, standing side by side, and the camera angle has them side on as they say, "What did it sound like?" in perfect unison. And I was like, they're the Shining Twins. It's so hot, but also they're the Shining Twins.
I didn't notice that at all.
You need to rewatch it for that exact scene.
Okay. They're being really sweet with the little boy as well. Like, they're being really cute with him. And they're like talking about Godzilla.
Both Nick and I really like Godzilla as a franchise, and this banter, I was 10 out of 10 on board with it. So Mrs. McKay, who's trying to discredit her child because she doesn't believe in monsters, which is I get it. But she says right in front of him, like, the more he tells the story, the more he's going to believe it. And I'm just like, lady, take a chill pill. So she says, tell the officers what you were watching on TV. And then internally I'm laughing because officers. And Evan says, Godzilla versus Mothra. And Dean's like smiling. He's like, this child. Okay. Yes. And he says, that's my favorite Godzilla movie. It's so much better than the original, huh? And Evan's like, totally. And Dean's like, yeah. And then he looks at Sam and he's like, he likes the remake. The remake? And he says it. He's like, he likes the remake. Like, it's a crime. I get it, but I'm just saying. And Evan goes, yuck. And it was like, Sam is glaring at Dean and looking kind of annoyed, like, we are on a case. Now is not the time for these bullshit shenanigans. Yeah. It was so funny, but it's just like Dean and this kid are bonding, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's cute, and I love it.
Yeah, it's cute. So when he's kind of describing what's happened, and he says he thinks it was a monster, and he says it took Mr. Jenkins away, and that he heard it leave, and it sounded like a whining growl. And I just need to mention that because that comes back later.
It does, yeah. And then we cut to the bar, which is called Cool's Keg. Yeah, very difficult to say. Can I just say? Random. And I saw the opening of it is filmed really cool, and I was like, oh, we're gonna get another badass bar scene. Dean's gonna be hot, and I was not disappointed. Dean was in fact very hot, although him playing darts doesn't really do it for me. I'm not. Poker, yes. Pool, yes. Bar fight,
I was gonna say pool,
yes.
Yeah.
Darts. Why darts, guys? It's just not. There's nothing going on. I don't know. That's just my own personal notation.
Darts aren't hot. That's Joy's hot take.
That's my takeaway. Yeah, that is my hot take.
So yeah, they're chatting about whether it's their kind of case or not, because they're not convinced that it is. Which, fun fact, it's not actually supernatural, so they weren't wrong.
Yeah.
But Sam says that their dad had marked the area in the journal, though, and said that there's local folklore about a dark figure who grabs people at night, then vanishes, and that the county has more missing persons per capita than anywhere else in the state.
Yep. And they bring up Spring Hill Jack and Phantom Gassers, and they're both sort of folklore because the Phantom Gassers, there's an argument over whether or not that was actually a real thing or whether that was just mass hysteria, and it's sort of similar for Spring Hill Jack. Like, there's an argument over whether there were real attacks that took place or how many of them were sort of fabricated, because a lot of the descriptions of Spring Hill Jack, he's leaping like 9 feet into the air and he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop doing some parkour, frankly. Parkour with knives. So that's what is brought up in terms of like show folklore of what they think they might be hunting. And they sort of debate about it. And they say that it is weird. But Dean's like, don't phantom attackers usually snatch people from their beds? Jenkins was taken from a parking lot. And Sam's like, well, there are all kinds, you know. Spring Hill Jacks, Phantom Gassers, they take people anywhere, anytime. Look, Dean, I don't know if this is our kind of gig either. And he's like, we should ask around more tomorrow. And then that's where they kind of leave the conversation. They hadn't really decided yet. They were going to ask people in the neighborhood and try and figure it out. And Dean's like, whoa, let's have some more drinks. Why do you need to go home right now? Because Dean wants to live, and Sam is like, I am a small grandmother in a cardigan, and I want to go home, and I want to go to bed.
He calls her a grandma, doesn't he?
He kind of does, yeah. And then he goes out. He decides he's going to go out early, and this is the only time I feel like ever when the person making the decision to not get drunk and messed up gets taken, because Sam's actually like the morally virtuous one.
Yeah.
So by the laws of horror, he should be safe, and it should be Dean that gets snatched. But no, it's our precious Sam.
Yeah. So they're leaving, and so Sam's alone when he leaves because Dean went to the bathroom before they left. And then we hear the same noises from before, from the opening scene. And Sam looks around and under the car again. Why? Stop looking under cars.
Yeah.
The cat jump scare, that did get me. Did it get you?
I wrote down, oh, Samuel, you've never been down with a flashlight to check under a car. Like, rule number 1. First, like, he left by himself to go out into the dark.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's already, we have one violation. I guess maybe that's what got him. And then he does the flashlight check. Okay, and there's an orange cat fully orange catting. This orange cat is like, I did not invite you into my little area. And he goes out at Sam's face, and Sam's screaming. And I laughed so hard. And I would just like to say that the cat jump scare in Supernatural is a Supernatural classic. And you should make note of this, because this will happen again, and it is hilarious every single time.
Yeah, that did get me. And then I like how the cat is then in the next scene as well, just like having a wash on the car. It's like came back.
The most orange cat energy of all the orange cats. This guy has the most.
My cat didn't like that bit though, because it hisses, doesn't it? And my cat was like, "What's going on?" And then I watched it like 3 times. So
jump scare. Ruby did not give a fuck. Ruby is the name of my cat, you guys, if you're confused. And then from nowhere, extreme fog instantly everywhere. So when they first go in, it's clear. And then when Sam's kind of wandering around, it's clear. And then the second that he comes back from like the cat jump scare, the fog is rolling in, right? And I was like, did they hire like 6 semi-trucks worth of dry ice to get this much fog of what happened? It was so much fog. And I was like, it's like we're in it's like we're in the movie The Fog, because it is everywhere.
Yeah, because Dean then comes out and finds that Sam is gone. And this is where I wrote, the cat is just having a wash on the car now. Oh, and I also made a note to say that there's frantic and dramatic music, which lets us know that we should be worried.
Yeah. Just in case we didn't get the cue. So Dean goes outside and he realizes that something bad's happened to Sam, and he goes, Sam. And then he goes, Sammy, thirst trap. And then he goes, Sam. And it's sad because he's really worried and heartbroken. And I was like, my heart. That last Sam.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wrote down nearly identical notes because I put, there's lots of Dean shouting Sam and Sammy. I bet Joy enjoyed that.
I did in fact enjoy that.
And then I wrote, the last Sam from Dean, heartbreaking.
Yeah. Jensen Ackles is such a good actor.
Yeah, they're both really good, but yeah, he is.
Yeah. So then he goes to file a missing persons report, and he goes to the police, and she says, so what can we do for you, Officer Washington? This whole thing where because he's not making up rock and roll names, because he's stolen the identity of an actual police officer.
Yeah. And
the name of the guy makes me laugh through the entire episode. Officer Washington made me laugh so hard. And then like his first name makes me laugh so hard later. And I won't spoil it now because I want to say it later. But I cracked up through this whole section. She's like, how can I help you? And he says, I'm working a missing persons case. And she says, I didn't know the Jenkins case was being covered by the state police. And he goes, oh, no, there's someone else. Actually, it's my cousin. We're having a few last night in this bar down by the highway, and I haven't seen him since. And she says, does your cousin have a drinking problem? And he says, Sam, 2 beers, and he's doing karaoke. And I laughed so hard because it's like, Sam is such a lightweight. And that cracked me up.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's saying that Sam is his cousin and he wants to look him up. I suppose this is because later on she looks them both up, and he's technically dead, isn't he?
He's dead, and a dead serial killer.
Yeah, from what happened in Skin.
Exactly.
So he says it's his cousin.
And he says, yeah, Dean, kind of the black sheep of the family. And then he goes, handsome though. And he's so smug, and I was like, thirst trap. That's amazing. But then I was like, but also, Dean, that's a bold move. Because what if she looked up the picture?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? I don't know. It was a bold move. It was a bold move.
I kept I paused it on this bit because I was wanting to read all the records that were popping up.
Yeah.
And I made a note which wouldn't be interesting to anyone else except me. I wrote, side note, Sam is 4 years older than me. And Dean is 8. And then And then I wrote, I didn't realise there was a 4-year age gap between them, though. I thought they were closer in age. But then I suppose it makes sense because Dean does treat Sam kind of like, he's definitely like the older brother, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he kind of like protects him and looks after him. Yeah. So Sam was born in 1983, which makes him 4 years older than me. I don't know why I wrote that down. It was just fun. Ah, so you're the same age as Sam.
Yeah.
See, fun facts. For us, anyway. Maybe not for the listeners.
Fun facts for all of us is that I saw them in an interview talking about this because they have the heights listed. So they say that Sam is 6'4", which is how tall my husband is in real life. And then they said that Dean is like the same height, but in reality, Jensen Ackles, they said, is like 6'1" or something.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview with that where they were talking about how it was written down and who did he have to pay to say that he was that tall, because there's like clearly a height difference between the two of them, and I thought that was hilarious. And I want to know how tall Padalecki actually is, because like, is he 6'4" or is he taller? Because Jensen Ackles, I think, is taller than 6'1". I kind of don't believe that he's 6'1". I think he's got to be at least 6'2", 6'3". So that makes me wonder how tall Padalecki actually is.
Right, so Dean says that he already has a lead, and she tells him to fill in a missing persons report before she gets started. And he says he wants to go with her, but she says that he can't. And Dean says, "Sounds my responsibility, and he's coming back. I'm bringing him back." And I put, Dean is very handsome and hot in this whole scene.
I write down, he says, "Sam's my responsibility. He's coming back. I'm bringing him back." And then I wrote down, in a nutshell, Supernatural seasons 1 through 15.
It's just the whole premise of the show.
The plot of everything. Yeah.
Oh, I had another fun fact. This is my fun fact about the police station. So this is just from IMDb. It says, the police station in this episode is the same police station used in season 1, episode 3, Dead in the Water. And this police station has also been used in other episodes as well. So it's the same police station.
Fun fact. We need a little fun fact music thing.
I think that's all of my fun facts now.
This was Fun Facts with Laura.
So then we cut to Sam in a cage, and I wrote down, "Who has caged my poor baby Sam?"
I thought you were going to write something like that. I wrote, Sam wakes up in a cage, and it's basically all rebar. And then I wrote down, redneck bullshit. It's giving me Deliverance vibes. And then where it cuts back to when Kathleen and Dean are in the car and they're driving to go find Sam, I write down Greg, because that's the first name of the identity that he has stolen. And she says Greg, and I about died laughing. Because of all of the names, he truly does not look like a Greg. Like, when you see Jensen Ackles' face, someone applies Greg to that, it becomes immediately ridiculous.
But he stole someone's identity. He had to use his actual name.
No, I know. I'm not coming down on that decision. I am just saying that
he doesn't look like a Greg.
He does not look like a Greg, to the degree that is, in fact, hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, before that, we've got Sam. So when Sam's in the cage, he also realizes that Mr. Jenkins is in the cage next to him. So the guy that went missing in the opening scene is with him.
Yeah.
So then we get to Kathleen and Dean, which is really hard to say. Kathleen and Dean.
It is kind of a tongue twister.
She's got some printouts from the traffic cameras from outside the bar that show an old truck with a new license plate number, which Dean says that means it's probably stolen then. And then Kathleen says, "So whoever's driving that rust bucket must be involved." And I wrote, "Cue a really old truck making a strange noise driving past them in the background."
Down. Pa Bender in the blackout van looks like Black Market Santa. All organs must go.
This way it comes back about the sound. So Dean says, "You hear that engine?" And Kathleen says, "Yeah." Dean says, "Kind of a whining growl, isn't it?" I'll be damned. And that links back to what the kid from the start said he heard. He heard a whining growl.
Yeah, I wrote down Dean. Clever girl. So I'm living my best life.
Yeah, this is a funny episode.
It is.
Sam. So we cut back to Sam, and he's kicking the cage, which was hot.
I wrote down Sam doing his best Indiana Jones impression, trying to kick through rebar, and I put down "Use your powers, Sammy."
Yeah, he doesn't know how to control them yet, Joy.
It's just he's never known how to control them, and for this episode, they don't exist for no reason. But season 1, it's the way that the writers play peekaboo with this huge character arc. Rude.
Maybe it's because they come out more when he's trying to save or protect someone else rather than himself.
I love the way that you're defending them. I love the way that you're defending them.
If it was Dean stuck in a cage and he was there, I bet he'd have used his powers to get Dean out. Just saying.
But I just feel like they didn't let him have his powers, because if he had his powers, this episode would be so easy. They would be one and done. But it's like, instead of doing what they should have done, which is like the Superman contingent, where you realize that you've made a character too strong and you have to give him weakness, therefore you write about kryptonite, and you're like, conveniently, there's this thing that means that we can, continue our story, because otherwise there's no story. They didn't give Sam any kind of kryptonite for his powers or anything. They don't even say, oh, when Sam's distressed or isolated, he can't tap into his powers. There's nothing. Just for no reason, he doesn't use the powers of his mind to bust out of this cage.
Yeah, but really, we only really know that he has like premonitions at the moment. I know he did the thing with the closet in the in Nightmare where he moves things, but we haven't seen that again, have we yet? I don't think. Like the telekinesis.
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, once you've done something with powers, you have powers. End of story. He has powers. Use your powers. Stop slacking.
So Mr. Jenkins is waking up next to him. I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with him because I really liked his sarcasm, but also found it annoying. So he was really sarcastic the whole time.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
And I love some sarcasm. But yeah, I couldn't tell whether I liked it or not. So he was being really sarcastic the whole time. So Sam goes, "Are you okay?" And Mr. Jenkins goes, "Does it look like I'm doing okay?" And that's just one of many like little things that he says like that.
Yeah.
And this guy's called Alvin, we find out. So Alvin, I'm going to be calling him from now on. So Sam asks where they are, but Alvin doesn't know. He says he thinks the country because of the smell.
That made me laugh. Because if you're actually from the country, when people say fresh country air, you think it smells like shit. Yeah. It literally smells like shit in most places in the country, because if it's not that there's animals around depositing things everywhere, then you're probably near a farm producing dairy, and all you can smell is cow shit.
Yeah. I grew up in the country, and yeah, can confirm it does smell like shit.
Yep. That was an important fact for everyone. You're welcome.
So Sam asks if he's Alvin Jenkins, and he says yeah. And Sam says he was looking for him, and Alvin says, "Well, no offense, but this is a piss poor rescue." I'm like, offense taken. At least he tried to find you.
What I wrote down was that I noticed that the cages change. So at first they're in like these like rewire cages, and then they're in these like prison bar cages, and it's a completely different structure. And I just want to know if anyone else noticed that. Like,
no,
tell me in comments right into the show. Laura's already let me know she did not notice it. Tell me that I'm not the only person who noticed that they completely changed the cages, because that was wild.
Was it like the whole cage? That's really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, because at first I thought it wasn't just like the end.
I thought it was just the end, or it was just a panel. But then I was looking at the angles when I rewatched it, and I was watching the scene. I was watching really closely because I thought, I'm not crazy, am I? No, I'm not crazy. It turns out they changed the structure of it.
How? If it's like that's part of the set, like have they just changed the set and not told anyone?
They were like, it's a dark enough setting, no one will care, it's fine. So I assume that there was some kind of structural issue with his breakout scene, with what they had before. Or maybe it is Jared. Maybe he broke it. Like, it's Jared. There's a high chance that he just broke the first set.
He was kicking it too hard in that scene that I thought was hot. He was kicking it and he actually broke it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's what happened.
Yeah. That's my theory.
Right, so then the captors come in and give Alvin some food. Why did they not give Sam any food?
So they're weakening them. Because when he says, how often do they feed you? And then he says, once a day. So they're not going to give Sam any food. They're weakening them because they want to hunt them and chase them down and kill them, don't they? And they say, we're giving them a fair chance. But
and because he's only just got him.
Yeah.
They've only just got Sam. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sam is watching to find out who or what they are. And then Sam says, I'll be damned, which was exactly what Dean said a minute ago. Mm-hmm. They're just people.
Shining. The Shining. Shining twins.
Yeah. Oh, this is the deliverance bit, isn't it? Because he says he's waiting for Ned Beatty time.
Yeah, he says, I'm waiting for Ned Beatty time. And I write down, that is a deliverance reference. And then I write down, fuck me, that's a dark joke.
Yeah.
Because if you know what happens to his character, I'm not gonna elaborate. But if you know what happens to his character, then you know that that's a pun. Okay. So when I went to look up about the whole deliverance thing and all the deliverance vibes, I found this quote, because we were talking about how it's always a core human fear that supernatural plays on. And so the quote goes, it is a fundamental fear in people traveling far from home that they will be set upon by random strangers with the intent to do them harm. And that was said by Flannery O'Connor of Deliverance and why Deliverance is so scary. And I think it's the same thing in this episode, like the concept of like the village of the damned or Wrong Turn. A lot of them, it is that. It's the core fear that you'll go someplace different where you're away from home and you're isolated and people will harm you. And since the whole theme of the episode is like people are scarier than monsters.
Yeah.
I thought that was spot on. Like, I thought that ties in so well. And I wrote down psycho hillbilly rednecks looking for love in all the wrong places, because that's his other line. I was like, it's all just Deliverance references.
Yeah, that all totally went over my head. But I've definitely seen that, but a long time ago.
It's okay. I'm using my film degree for something, Laura. For something. So Sam's pulling on this like metal corded thing, and we're not sure what it is. Trying to break out, and I wrote, use the force, Sam. It is hot though. It is like him trying to break himself out of the cage is pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't quite understand what putting a pipe thing down is going to do though, but it does get him a bracket which he uses later. So maybe that was just the point, to loosen the bracket.
I think he's just looking for any weakness that he can exploit. And I think he was hoping that if he could pull on that hard enough, he'd be able to kick his way out and exploit a weakness in the cage.
Or maybe it was like linked to the locks or something, because they were all attached to like a switch, weren't they? So maybe it was the pipe. Yeah. Maybe it was like something to do with that.
Yeah, it was smart. It was a smart move. I mean, if you're locked up anywhere like that, I think anything that you can think of to try to get yourself out of there is a good idea. So I applaud him. I just think he should have used the force.
So then we cut to Dean and Kathleen driving, and they found where the van was lost on the cameras, so they know that they must have pulled off somewhere, because they're not on the main road anymore. And then this is where the results of the background check come in. So she's done a background check on Officer Washington.
She says, so Gregory. And I died.
Gregory? Yeah, he definitely doesn't look like a Gregory, does he?
No, it's ridiculous. It's great. And then she shows him the photo of the officer whose ID he stole. And it's like a black man.
He doesn't look anything like Dean.
He's a rotund gentleman. And Like you could not get more opposite, and the comedy of this moment is just it's top tier. She's looking at him like, what explanation could there possibly be for this? And he says, I lost some weight. Oh, I died. And he's trying to bargain with Kathleen. And Kathleen's like, listen, I don't even know who you are, or if Sam is even missing. And he says, I thought this line was so significant. Dean says, look, here's the thing. When we were young, I pretty much pulled him from a fire, and ever since then, I've felt responsible for him. Like, it's my job to keep him safe. I'm just afraid if we don't find him fast, please, he's my family. And he gets really emotional, and it's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. And I was like, once again, this sentence is the plot of Supernatural seasons 1 through 15.
Is this where, has she already said that she had a brother that went missing yet?
No, because he sees the picture. Okay. There's a part in the scene where we see his picture in like her visor thing.
Okay.
In the car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just put a little pin in that.
Mm-hmm.
We get another fun. There's actually some really funny bits in this episode, which is good.
There really are.
It's so disturbing without the comedy.
Yeah.
So we cut back to Alvin and Sam. So Alvin's asking Sam what his name is, and he says Sam. And then Alvin says, why don't you give it up, Sammy? There's no way out. And Sam says, don't. And he's still pulling the pipe off the wall. So he's like grunting in between each bit.
Don't call me Sammy!
Yeah, as he's pulling the pipe up.
On the power of being called Sammy. I love how much he hates it. And I love how much even strangers are like, Sammy.
And I thought it was a nice callback to the pilot as well, because it was for the pilot, wasn't it? When he doesn't want to be called Sammy anymore.
Yeah. And then Jenkins says, oh, thank God, a bracket.
He's so sarcastic.
So hard. And all he does is get the bracket. Oh my God, I can't breathe. Giving myself a minor asthma attack from laughing so hard. So, oh my God. Oh God. And then I wrote down, there's the part where, because he's pulled it and these people are evil, conniving assholes, the cage unlocks itself. And Jenkins thinks that Sam's knocked something loose and that it is right. And then Sam goes, this isn't right. Is he using his powers? If he is using his powers, why did he use his powers to break out of the cage? Anyway. Oh, that's significant foreshadowing, actually. Put a pin in that. Sam's like, this isn't right. And Jenkins is like, don't you want to get out of here? And he's like, yeah, but that's too easy. I mean, you did just spend, I don't know how long trying to pull that thing off. I don't know how easy that was, but still. And he's like, Jenkins is like, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to send help. Don't worry. And Sam's like, no. This is not a good idea. And Jenkins says, bye, Sammy. I wrote down, he's still calling him Sammy.
It was funny.
And because I keep making Star Wars references, I write down, it's a trap. And then I wrote, and it's Deliverance. So it's a Deliverance trap.
Yeah. So Alvin's running around outside and he finds a knife and he says thank you to like the sky, so like to God or whatever. And I wrote down, this seems fishy. Like, why is there just a knife there?
Suspicious. Definitely suspicious. Can I just say, so that I don't accidentally interrupt you at a crucial point, you keep saying Alvin and all I can think of is Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about as well. In fact, I might have been singing that theme tune all of yesterday.
Well, because the other thing is, I can't remember the name of their human, but he's pretty grumpy most of the time. So, Alvin
Simon.
Jenkins, Simon, and then
is that Simon?
Wait, is Simon one of the Chipmunks?
No, that's one of the Chipmunks.
I can't remember the name.
I don't know what the
anyway. Yeah, grumpy guy with the name Alvin and Jenkins, and it's just funny to me because those are both super grumpy names. So he runs into the woods And then we go, you done fucked up. Because we as the audience can see the fucking Benders people coming through the darkness, all up in their hunting gear, going, kind of vibes.
Oh, they're so creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
They're awful.
I did have a note about the music in the scene, which I don't normally notice this stuff, but I was quite proud of myself. The music in the scene, I wrote, has a beat that reminded me of a heartbeat, which added to the tense feeling of the scene. Because I was like, you're holding your breath and it's like tense, so his heartbeat is going fast.
Yeah, very true. So the whole scene is very The Most Dangerous Game, Deliverance, and also it's the off-camera screaming, which is another Deliverance reference. And I was like, wow, this is deeply disturbing and very terrifying. And I was actually scared. I've seen it before, but I was actually scared. And once again, I can see why this makes it onto the scariest episode list all the time, because it's terrifying.
Yeah, it was scary. And because they're so sadistic, like it's like a nightmare. It's like a worse nightmare coming true.
Based on a true story. Okay, let me just drop those words in here. Based on a true story.
Ew. So yeah, he runs off. We hear the creepy laughing, and then he gets hit with a pipe or maybe a big stick. That's why I wrote down my notes. Hits with a pipe or maybe a big stick. He gets hit with something, and we realise they've let him go just so they can hunt him. And I just wrote psychos.
Yeah, and then the takedown's so brutal too, because he's running away from him. They're trying to like stab him. I think he trips over the tripwire, which we see at the last second right before he runs into it, and you go, oh yeah, fuck. And then he goes down, and they like simultaneously are looking at each other, smiling, super like just truly enjoying themselves. And the only thing that I can think of that's like this is Rob Zombie did a horror movie, House of a Thousand Corpses, and there's like the evil glee in the characters in that film. It's the same. And these actors, they're scary, okay? Evil glee to like a whole nother level, smiling at each other, and then they're like stabbing shit into Jenkins, and Jenkins is just screaming, and it's a horrible kill scene.
Yeah, it is. And also it makes it scarier because it kind of cuts back to sound, but just for a few seconds, and you can hear him, like Jenkins, screaming in the background.
And you just know Sam is locked away. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really horrible. It's horrific. And distressing.
It actually is. Yeah.
Yes.
Puts the horror in horror.
Yeah.
That made no sense.
Like, wait. Put the horror in horror.
Laura was like, yeah. And then she was like, no. No.
That's staying in. And I'm going to make that a quote from on Instagram.
Thanks a lot, cousin. Thanks a lot. You guys, listen to the evil laughter right now. She's so delighted. She's like, you just said something so stupid on the air, and I'm going to make a press packet about it. Now she can't breathe.
It's going to be our show motto.
It's the horror and horror. Yeah. You guys, she's gone. She's gone.
I've gone full Muttley, as my family say. When I laugh, I go silent.
Shade of pink. Well, yeah, because she doesn't breathe. She's crying. She's wiping tears away. I want you to know this is how much she enjoyed that, guys. I just feel like it was very it's a very Supernatural con with just the unhinged chaos of Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki kind of vibes. That's what that was like. Because one of them will say something, and then the other one will just like ream the other dude, and that's what just happened. And I was on the reaming. And this time, next time, it's not gonna be me. I'm gonna remember this, Laura. I'm gonna remember this.
Remember, I'm the editor.
Listen, I'm the one with all the ghosts that you are not a fan of. Okay, so if you're gonna play that card, I'm gonna play this card.
No, if I said something stupid, I'd keep it in as well, so we could laugh at me. I'm happy to laugh at myself.
But right now, you're very happy to laugh at me.
That was just funny.
Yeah, she's having the time of her life, you guys. Okay, so where are we now?
Oh yeah, this is where we find out about Kathleen's brother. So Dean and Kathleen are talking. Dean asks her why she's helping him, and she says her brother also disappeared 3 years ago, and that's why she's helping him, even though he lied.
There's this one part where she says, "I have to take you in," and there's a really long pause, and then she says, "After we find Sam Winchester."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Kathleen, you fucking rock star. She's such a... I love her so much. She's one of my favorite characters. I wish she'd been like a recurring character because she's so cool.
So they're driving, and Dean asks Kathleen to pull over as he sees a turn-off, and it's the only turn-off they've seen so far, and they'd already said that they must have turned off somewhere. And then so they pull over, and she tells him to stay behind, and she'll go check it out. And then this whole interaction was so good, so I wrote the whole thing down, unless you want to say it.
No, you go.
So Dean says, "No way." Kathleen, "Hey, you're a civilian and a felon, I think. I'm not taking you with me." Dean says, "You're not going without me." Kathleen sighs and then says, "All right, you promise you won't get involved. You'll let me handle it." Dean says, "Yeah, I promise." Kathleen, "Shake on it." Dean shakes her hand, and then she slaps the cuffs on him, and then she cuffs him to the car door and leaves him there. And I wrote, she will regret this decision very soon, but it was funny how she pulled one over on him.
I was just like, this is top tier badass bitch energy. I love it so much. He's all like, "I'm gonna come with you." She's like, "I don't need no man. I'm fine." It was great. And it was just so smooth. And you also know that she had to have managed to manhandle him over to the car. And then like also hook him up to the car. Yeah. I lived. Yes. That was so good. I love it so much. And then Dean goes, "I gotta start carrying paper clips."
That was funny. I wrote that down as well. Because that was a callback to the pilot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. When he breaks out of the handcuffs in the sheriff's office with the paperclip, that was from the file. Oh, I love it so much.
That was funny. I wrote down, I don't know how strong that car handle is though, because how the door handle is, because
the car handle, Laura?
He's like,
my time is nigh.
Instant
the car handle. The handle of the car.
Oh no, it came back to bite me straight away.
That was good. That was instant turnaround. Excellent.
I've written car handle in my notes as well. That's why I said it. That's
even better.
It says car handle.
Oh, I love it. This is the best.
But yeah, he kind of shakes his wrist, and it was like, that was quite... I reckon if he did it really hard, he could have just got off that. But anyway, that wouldn't have been as fun, would it?
It is a cop car, though. But maybe.
Yeah. And it probably hurt his wrist as well.
Our precious angel baby Dean's wrist. So she goes up to the house, and I wrote, it's giving very much like Village of the Damned vibes.
Yeah, it was creepy.
It's all kind of creepy, old barn stuff, really abandoned looking from the outside. You just go,
unkempt. Yeah, and it's like, and it's now overcast and raining as well. So the weather, you've noted before that the weather changes with the
Gothic
vibes.
Indeed. It starts going stormy-ish in the background and super extra creepy. And Missy, I wrote down, Missy looks like a victim until she looks like a blonde Samara.
Yeah, she was creepy. Because she goes to touch her.
Yeah. Kathleen definitely thinks that this girl has been taken. It's the same mistake that Dean makes, where they both look at her and go, "Oh no, she's been captured," or "Oh no, she's in a terrible situation." And it turns out, no, she's pure evil.
She's one of them.
Yeah. Okay, so Kathleen sees Missy, who is the devil. But Kathleen doesn't know that. She's trying to be so nice. So she says, "Hi, who are you?" And she's trying to be all like nice lady to her. And Missy says, "Who are you?" And Kathleen says, I'm Kathleen. I'm a deputy. What's your name? And Missy says, Missy. But she says it like Missy. She's weird. Okay, that's my point. She's unusual. There's a setup.
Yeah, she's
that
creepy.
You can sense the setup is being set up. Okay. That was almost as good as the horror and horror. Just saying. So they're having this conversation, and she says, "Is your mom here?" And Missy just goes deadpan. She goes, "She's dead." There's like no emotion to it. She's not sad about it. She's just super factual, and I'm like, okay, little psychopath. And so Kathleen says, "I'm sorry. What about your dad?" And she shakes her head, and then she says, "No." And then she says, "Can I come in for a minute? I just want you to look at a picture." And so she takes a picture of Sam out of her pocket and shows it and says, "Have you seen this guy? Look at the picture." And Missy looks up and sees something behind Kathleen, and she smiles evilly. And Kathleen's kind of smiling and laughing because she doesn't sense the evil in this child. She's just like, "Oh, this girl's cute." And she says, "What?" And Missy says, "That's gonna hurt." And then Pa Bender is right behind her and hits her on the head with a fucking shovel or some shit. It's so fast. I didn't even really see what he had in his hand. But she just goes down like a sack of bricks, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah.
I just wrote, who are these people in my notes at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so scary and gross and terrible. And at this point, we're really emotionally invested in Kathleen because, like, we know that her brother's been taken. And we know that she's going out of her way to try to save Sam. And she's so just like sympathetic and kind and brave and funny. And she handcuffed Dean Winchester to her car. What is not to love? So when she goes down like that, you just go, oh, fuck. And then the tension is just ramping up, okay? Because we cut to Dean and he's trying so hard to reach for the antenna on the car. Because he's trying to pick his way out of the handcuffs. But then he hears the engine and we're like, fuck. And I wrote down, my heart was in my butt. Because Nick and I watched this YouTuber called Courtney Jade, and she watches scary TikToks, and she's always like, my heart's in my butt. That's what it made me think of, because it is so terrifying. And Dean goes, son of a bitch. And I was like, this is classic Dean. And I was like, I use this phrase for all occasions in Dean's voice. Anytime something goes wrong, I go, son of a bitch. And then he drops the antenna. Like, he's reaching so hard, manages to get it, drops it. And you're like, oh my God, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. And he's still trying to get out. But at the last minute, we realize that he manages to get away.
Yeah, like right at the last minute. And I wrote, that was some very quick lock picking in my notes.
Yeah. Well, he's got skills, and he's been doing lock picking his whole life, so I'm gonna allow it.
The scene was really tense the whole time because, you know, you've got the truck going up the path and they get to the gate and stuff, and you're like, oh, they're gonna get him.
Yeah.
Right. So then we cut to Kathleen, and she's in one of the cages now. I know. I made a note to say they've taken her jacket off and let her hair down. Why?
Pigs.
Like that's a bit creepy.
Well, they're really gross about her because I can't remember if it's Pa Bender or one of the boys, but it's, oh, she's so pretty, or something to that effect. Yeah. It's very, you got a pretty mouth. Like, it's too much.
Yeah, I just it seems a bit scary. Sinister to me.
It's so sinister.
And then Sam asks if she's okay, and she asks if he's Sam Winchester, and she says that his cousin is looking for him, and then Sam's like, thank God, where is he? And then Kathleen's like, I cuffed him to my car.
Yeah, that scene is amazing. And then we hear somebody coming in, and you just see the boots, and then you see the jeans, and then you see the Dean Winchester. Okay, because he got away, and he's here to save Sam. And he goes, Sam, are you hurt? And I wrote, thirst trap. Anytime he says Sam and goes to rescue Sam, it's a thirst trap.
I made a weird note here. I don't even know if it's a thing, but I noticed as Dean is walking in, he looks like he's kind of muttering to himself, but we don't hear anything, and there wasn't anything on the captions. And then I was like, well, maybe they actually just cut the dialogue. Maybe there was something, and they cut it because they wanted it to seem like they didn't know it was Dean to start with or something. But yeah, it's weird. You have to watch it again. He looks like he's saying something, but there's no words.
Huh. All right. My favorite part of this is Dean goes, "Damn, it's good to see you." And Kathleen says, "How did you get out of those cuffs?" And he turns around and he sees her and he says, "Oh, I know a trick or two." And I was just like, thirst trap. Thirst trap.
Yeah, that bit was good.
So good. So good. They're catching each other up on what's going on. And Dean's like, what kind of monster is it?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, dude, they're just people." And Dean goes, "And they jumped you? Must be getting a little rusty there, kiddo." And number one, it's so funny. Number two, that line comes back around, and when it does, it's the best burn. It's the most satisfying burn of all time. So I love it so much. But then we cry because throughout the course of the conversation, Dean says he has like a dozen junked cars hidden out back with plates from all over. So I'm thinking when they take someone, they take their car too. And Kathleen says,
"Yeah.
Did you see a black Mustang out there about 10 years old?" And Dean says, "Yeah, actually I did." And she looks so sad. And he guesses, he says, "Your brother's." And she nods and he says, "I'm sorry." And
That's really sad.
God, it hurt. That hurt me in my soul. It's just tragic.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. We did skip one little quote I wanted to say before, which was the bit about them being humans, which we kind of talked about at the start. But Dean says, "With our usual playmates, there's rules, there's patterns, but with people, they're just crazy." And I was like,
true story.
It's like we were saying at the beginning about that people are scarier than like the supernatural things they usually hunt, because I think it's because they're less predictable.
Yeah.
Because humans, you don't know what they're going to do. They're just crazy.
Yeah. More monstrous than the monsters.
And like true crime, I listen to a lot of podcasts and consume a lot of like true crime stuff, but also lots of paranormal stuff because I like both. And the true crime ones are scarier.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree with that. And I just think it just goes to show humans are the worst.
Also, I think it's interesting that there hasn't been an episode so far yet where there hasn't been, like, there's no supernatural element at all in this episode.
No.
Like, we don't even have Sam's powers. Like you pointed out.
The Force.
Yeah. So there's literally nothing. And because it's, there's usually a supernatural element because it's called Supernatural. Yeah. Do they do that occasionally?
I think this is one of the only episodes.
Huh.
This might be the only episode.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting point to make.
For sure.
So yes, then we get the horrible scene where we realise that Kathleen's brother was a victim of these horrible people. Then we get a nighttime shot of the house, and I wrote, it looks even creepier in the dark.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. Dean walks in and is trying to sneak around because he's trying to find the keys to rescue the guys. And there's chicken wire. And then there's just jars of organs. And I wrote, this is very Hannibal Lecter, but no class. Like if Hannibal Lecter was full redneck, this is what that would be. And there are trophy pictures on the mirror where they're posing with dead people as if they're stag photos. Like, when hunters will take photos with deer. It's exactly that. And it's so I have never seen anything as creepy as that in my life. It looks hyper realistic. And I was done. I was like, turn off the episode. I am finished. If I was by myself at night, I don't think I could watch this episode.
Well, I was by myself at night.
I mean, you're braver than me.
But yeah, all the jars, there was like jars with loads of stuff in it. And there was even like some glasses, as in like spectacles.
Yeah.
Those kind of glasses.
Just weird, fucking stuff that they
And
picked
are
off
they
of
all
people.
trophies? Yeah. They're all trophies.
For sure.
Ugh. So then, then Dean says again, he says, well, I'll say it again. Demons I get, people are crazy. And then he finds some stairs and goes up them. And I wrote, this level looks like where the family are actually living. So like the base level, the level below was like trophy level or something. And then this is where they actually live.
Trophy level.
And there's...
Yeah.
And I just bet there's still creepy shit around, like random bones hanging from the ceiling that Dean hits his head on. And then the dad is in the kitchen hacking up something in the sink. And I'm like, is that Jenkins? Is he
probably
dismembering? Ugh.
So I wrote down, this is peak flashlight horror once again, because he's making his way around and he's only seen by this really dim light of the flashlight, and it's highlighting all these horrible things. It's kind of Blair Witch-ish to a degree, where it's dark and we're seeing bones hanging from the ceiling and stuff. So there's like an old record player playing music from the sort of 1800s to 1900s, which is the era where the real Bender family were operating in, which makes it extra gross and extra creepy. The house is actually kind of rotting in places where we can see where boards have come off, and you can see the kind of like the insides of the house. It just looks so evil and so wrong. The pelvic bones and jaw bones are wind chimes. That's what he runs into. They've made interior like wind chime hanging charm things out of people's jawbones and pelvic bones, as you do. And it's so gross when he runs into it. And he just goes, what the? And you know he's going to say fuck, and you fill it in for him. And then Pa is going at this thing with a bone saw. Can I just say it's a bone saw that he's using? And the sound that it's making gives me misphonia. Like hardcore. It's a terrible noise, and it makes me want to commit violent acts to make it stop. Like, it is awful. And I wrote, Pa Bender is dicing up some Soylent Green.
I wrote about the sound being rank. I wrote the saw sound was rank, and I could have done without seeing the jar of teeth, to be honest.
Oh my god, Dean sees the keys, and he should fucking just get the keys. But he gets distracted because he sees a jar of human teeth. And instead of taking the key out of it, he's just like looking at it in disbelief. He's like picking up, like, is this what I think it is? And it's like, yes. Did you not get the clue when you ran into the human jawbones? Like, come on. And then suddenly there's Missy. And Dean, like Kathleen, thinks this is a child that needs rescuing or something. And he goes, shh, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. And Missy smiles, like Kubrick smiles, and is like, I know. And then she has a knife, and she fucking pins him to the wall like a fucking fly. She just drives it through his leg. And it looks so gnarly. And then she's screaming daddy on repeat. And all the guys come running, but there's something about the way that she's screaming daddy over and over and over again, and she's so terrifying and just like twisted. There's something about an evil child that gets me. It's just way scarier than an evil adult.
Yeah. Well, it's like the creepy kids thing. That's why I don't like kids. Creepy kids, not all kids.
That's why I don't like children. They're all evil.
So then the two sons, so there's two sons and a daughter, and then the dad isn't there. And the two sons show up and tackle Dean, and there's a bit of a struggle. And then Dean says, I'm going to kick your ass first, then yours. And then he gets hit around the head by the dad with a pan. I think it's a pan anyway.
It's a frying pan,
They like knocking people out, don't they?
Yeah. So it's just like... It's such a brutal fight scene. I love it so much. Like, once again, you guys, you have to watch it. If you like fight scenes, this is top tier. I wish it was on Stuntman React. I might write into Stuntman React and ask them to do that episode, because they need to. Okay, they need to. But it's the best back and forth that I've ever seen. Like, there's one part where Dean goes to deliver this, like, epic kick, but then one of the other brothers catches him from behind and swings him around and then smashes him into like this chest of drawers type thing. And he just keeps getting back up. And then he finally starts making headway because he can swing a good fucking punch, right? So you can see him starting to wear them down. And that's when he's like, I'm going to kick your ass, and then I'm going to kick your ass, which would be true if Pa Bender did not hit him and knock him out with a fucking frying pan from behind. It's like he needed to pay more attention to his surroundings and less into like sassy back talk, okay?
But he's so good at the sassy back talk.
He's so good at it, and I love it, and I would never want him to not do it, except in this one instance. This one instance. And then he like comes to, and they're having this conversation, and
he's tied to a chair.
He's tied to a chair, and Pa Bender ends up with like a fucking poker in his hand, and it's super terrifying because they're like torturing him, trying to find out what he knows and who's coming, and if more cops are coming.
Yeah, that bit's horrible.
Yeah.
And he puts it near his eye. Why with the eyes?
I knew you were going to say that. I have that written down in my notes. So Pa Bender says, you ever killed before? And Dean like laughs. He basically says it depends on what you mean. But it's just, I thought that was so funny. He's like, you ever killed before? It's like, bitch, you have no idea. And then he says, the best hunt is human. Holding their life in your hands, seeing the fear in their eyes just before they go dark makes you feel powerful, alive. I'm using my accent to its best effect.
That's just horrible. I just put, this is some absolute psycho crappy spouting.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Dean goes, you're a sick puppy.
Oh, and this bit, he goes, so when he says that, he's going from like being all smiley and like thinking it's funny, and then he goes straight to angry crazy eyes.
Oh, he does. Yeah. And he says, you give him a weapon, you give him a fighting chance. And I wrote, okay, 1 meal a day and tripwires in the dark on a land that you know, like the back of your hand, you give them a fighting chance. Bullshit. It is disgusting. And then so they're talking about it, and Pa Bender says that it's a family tradition. In this conversation, he says, I hunt like my grandpapa and my daddy before me. It's a family tradition. And he's all like, passed down from father to son, and he's so casual. And this is where I shall put my Easter egg, because I think that the writers want us to know that these are the descendants of the real Bender family, which this is a true story. Welcome to True Crime Hour, okay? So, the background of this is that there's an area in Cherryville in Kansas where people are going missing. It's the 1800s, just to set the scene, okay? It's 1873 in March. And a doctor goes to investigate this missing girl and some of the missing people. And he goes to stay at a place called the Bender's Inn because he suspects that they have something to do with it. But he vanishes off the face of the earth. No one hears from him again. No one knows anything. And this is the only reason why this gets solved, is because his brother is not just anybody. He's a colonel, and he has political connections. So he's able to raise money to go on a hunt for his brother, which sounds familiar. So on March 28th of 1873, Colonel York, which is the name of his brother, arrived at the Bender's Inn with Mr. Johnson, explaining that his brother had gone missing and asking if they had seen him. They admitted that Dr. York had stayed with them and suggested the possibility that he had run into trouble with Indians. Quote. And I was like, this is Osage territory too. So not only do the Osage people have to put up with white people stealing their land rights and moving them off of their land, all the fuckery, okay, can I just say? But also serial killers are like, no, it's those guys. It's those guys over there.
For
just all the racism.
Blamed for stuff.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. So Colonel York agrees that this is possible and remains for dinner. Then on April 3rd, Colonel York returns to the inn with armed men after learning that a woman had fled the inn after Elvira Bender had threatened her with knives. So Elvira is the name of the wife. Elvira allegedly could not understand English, while the younger Benders denied the claim. When York repeated the claim, Elvira became enraged, saying that the woman was a witch who had cursed her coffee and ordered the men to leave her house, revealing for the first time that her sense of the English language was much better than was let on. Before York left, Kate asked him, so Kate's the daughter, she's like Missy in this scenario, but in the real case, she's a grown woman, not a child. I think she's in her 20s. So she asked him to return alone the following Friday night, and she says she would use her clairvoyant abilities to help him find his brother, because Kate Bender claimed to be a spiritualist and a psychic. And part of this shtick of like entertaining people or getting people into the inn was she would say that she was a psychic and she could connect them to their loved ones. So not only did they kill these people, but then she would go around and pretend, oh, I could help you. I could help you find this person. So the men with York were convinced that the Benders and the neighboring family, the Roaches, were guilty and wanted to hang them all, but York insisted that evidence must be found. 3 days after the township meeting, Billy Toll was driving cattle past the Bender property when he noticed that the inn was abandoned and the farm animals were unfed. Toll reported the fact to the township trustee, but due to the inclement weather, several days lapsed before the abandonment could be investigated. The township trustee called for volunteers, and several hundred turned up to the farm to turned up to form a search party that included Colonel York. When the party arrived at the inn, they found the cabin empty of food, clothing, and possessions. So basically, they turn up and they solve the crime, but no one's put under watch. No one's put under watch. He just says they need a fair trial. We have to find evidence first, and they stay there to find the evidence. And then in the meanwhile, the Benders fucking sneak away. And I'm just like, you are a military man. You are a fucking colonel. How do you not know that there should be a watch placed on these people? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So then it says a bad odor was noticed and traced to a trapdoor underneath a bed nailed shut. After opening the trap, the party found clotted blood on the floor of the empty room underneath. No. It measured 6 feet deep and 7 feet square at the top by 3 feet square at the bottom. They broke up the stone slab floor with sledgehammers, but found no bodies and determined that the smell was from blood that had soaked into the soil. The men then physically lifted the cabin and moved it to the side and dug under it, but no bodies were found. They then probed the ground around the cabin with a metal rod, especially in the disturbed soil of the vegetable garden and the orchard where Dr. York's body was found later that evening, buried face down with his feet barely below the surface. The probing continued until midnight with another 9 suspected grave sites marked before the men were satisfied that they had found them all and retired for the night. The next morning, another 8 bodies were found in 7 of the 9 suspected graves, while one was found in the well along with several other body parts. All but one had their heads bashed in with a hammer and throats cut, and newspapers reported that they were all indecently mutilated. So that's the cannibalism angle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Indecently mutilated.
Yeah.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah. So there are several things where cannibalism is heavily implied in the research that I came across, although it's not necessarily outright stated. And within, I think, a lot of the rumors that I saw, it gets kind of bantered around, so you can see why they went with a kind of cannibalistic sort of a vibe to this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea in this episode is that they are the descendants, that they got away, and their family have been living there ever since. And the place where they're staying is linked to the case. So if you guys go and look in my show notes, you're going to find pages and pages and pages of true crime. Everything is in there. I have more that I could read to you, but we've run out of time for that. So I'm going to let you just go to the show notes, click the links. You can read it all. It's all there for you. It is super fucking creepy. And that has been True Crime Hour. Thank you.
When was this again? What year?
This was 1873.
Okay. Yeah, so like older. So that's why. So these could be descendants, like you say.
Mm-hmm. Also, what was it with like the fucking 1870s and the 1890s and like murders and serial killers? Why are they everywhere?
Yeah.
Because I swear to God, almost every episode, if there's an Easter egg that dates back to that time period, is like axe killers, the servant girl murderer. There was the set of axe killings that I brought up a couple of episodes back again. Like, there's these fucking guys. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah. Like a little pocket of lots of things going on. It's like the 70s as well was like a big serial killer era, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And I don't understand why stuff like that happens, but it's so creepy.
We have to look into like what was going on at the time, like politically or socially, like were there any wars or anything, like, I don't know. I had a thought about this. So just before you did your Easter egg, you said about him saying it was a family tradition. And I was like, it's so weird. There's the parallels between the Winchesters, because the Winchesters have a family business, but instead of killing people, they're trying to save people. So it's like this parallel between the two families.
I wrote that down.
I thought it was cool.
Did you? Yeah, no, I did. And I can't remember, what did I write down for their family slogan? Oh,
we put the horror in horror. She's sticking her finger up at me, everyone.
I know that I wrote it down, but I feel like I'm losing my mind because I can't see it in here. But anyway, I wrote down, so they had saving people, hunting things, and I wrote down slaying people, serial killer things, or something like that. But I can't find it now, and I feel like what I wrote down was funnier, and I'm a little bit sad. It's fine.
That sounds funny as well, though.
Sad times. Anyway, so we got this really cool Venetian blind lighting, and Dean looks like an old school hero, like the great detective films, the film noir films. Like, they really like to make him look like he's a pulp fiction type detective from back in the day. And they do that a lot with the lighting and the scene setting. And they're having the conversation, and they're still trying to get information out of him. And at one point, Dean says, "How about it's not nice to marry your sister?" And this is another reference to the Real Benders, because Kate married her brother. Yeah. So fun reference for you there.
Did you write the quote that's pretty much straight after that was also funny?
Yes, I did.
Got him. You go.
Oh, eat me. No. You actually might.
Yeah. That was funny. And that now that you've said your Easter egg, that links, because that's like a cannibal reference, whereas
I put down son of a bitch counter. We are at 2.
So this is when they're like branding him or torturing him with the poker.
Yep. Yeah, because Paul Bender's holding it up to his eye and questioning him, and then he says, "Next time I'll take an eye." And I wrote down, that looks extremely real and extremely hot, and it is so close to Jensen's eye. Jesus Christ. This does not seem safe. Okay, and we know that they're not that great about safety because they had thousands of bees. So I was so concerned for Jensen's eyes. I'm not gonna lie.
I just wrote, what is with the show and eyes?
They know that you're watching, Laura. They know, and they're out to get you. Okay, so to return to the menace, they have this back and forth, and Pa Bender says, "Do you think this is funny? All right, you want to play some games? We'll play some games. It looks like we're going to have a hunt tonight after all, boys. And you get to pick the animal, the boy or the cop." And Dane starts freaking out, and he's like, "Okay, wait, look, nobody's coming for me, all right? It's just us." And he says, "You don't get to choose, I will." And then he places the poker on Dean's shirt and starts burning him, and Dean's screaming, and it's so fucking awful. And then he puts it right next to his eye, like we said before, and he says, all right, the guy, take the guy. Because he thinks they're going to let Sam out like they did the other guy, and he's going to have a fighting chance because of everything they just said to him, right? And then Pa says, "Lee, go do it. Don't let him out, though. Shoot him in the cage." And Dean is freaking out. He says, "What? I thought you were going to hunt him. You were going to give him a chance," because he obviously is thinking that logically Sam has a better shot than the cop. He's trying to protect her. And he's also trying to get Sam out of the cage because he thinks Sam will like take the opportunity and break free. And he says, Lee, when you're done with the boy, shoot the bitch too. And then
Food.
Yeah. And he says, better clean this mess up before any more cops come running out here. And Dean actually does look scared.
Yeah.
And then it
He's like,
cuts.
oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah. It cuts to the barn scene where Lee walks into the barn and he puts the key in the lock and turns it. And Sam says, what are you doing? And he's unlocking the cage and walking towards Sam. And Sam notices that bracket that Laura was praising him for getting and grabs it. And when Lee opens the cage and aims his gun, Kathleen shouts, hey. And then it cuts back to the living room and Dean can hear gunshots. And Dean's obviously thinking that they're shooting Sam. And he's like, you hurt my brother and I'll kill you. I swear, I'll kill you all. I'll kill you all. He's losing it. And he's gone full The Shining once more. And we just go, I believe this. Like, if Dean gets out of that chair, he's going to slaughter everyone in this room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When Lee opens the cage and Sam tackles him, though, and he gets the rifle away from him, that was hot.
It is hot. I was screaming, hell yeah.
Yeah. So then the dad and the other son, who's Jared, go and find Lee, and they find him in the cage. So they know that Sam's escaped then. And then they try and find Sam and Kathleen, who are both hiding. And this bit was scary because they're kind of like creeping around and they're trying to hide from them. And there's a bit where we think Kathleen's gone in like a cupboard. And then the son is like shooting through the door. And we're like, oh no, he's just shot her. But then she's not in the cupboard because he opens it and she's not there. And then she jumps at him from like, I don't know, a hayloft or something above.
Yep.
And tackles him.
Yep. So they set up an ambush, which I thought was really badass because Sam and Kathleen obviously took the lights out, which is why everybody's running around in the dark. And what Kathleen actually did when she goes over to the chest is she's taken out something that she can use as a weapon because she's a badass. And so whenever he goes over there and he's shooting at the chest, she's lining up from above, and then she drops down like Xena fucking warrior princess, and puts him into a chokehold immediately. Like her arm is around his throat, and she's trying to choke him the fuck out because he's obviously huge, and it's amazing. Yeah. And Sam hears the struggle, and he puts his head out, and Pa Bender tries to shoot it off because he's coming around the corner at the same time. And the other Bender like manages to get free. So the big brother, who's fighting with Kathleen, he grabs his gun. Jared. I'm not saying it because I feel like it's going to make it confusing. The other Bender manages to get free, and he grabs his gun and he goes to shoot Kathleen. And he says, "You stupid bitch." This is the best part because he calls her a stupid bitch. Okay. But then Sam runs in between them shouting, "Hey," right? Because Sam's the fucking hero. So he fires and Sam drops like Superman, okay? Faster than a speeding bullet. He drops right in time. And the dumbass has shot his own dad. Because I'm positive that Sam knew where Pa Bender was and like lined this up. I don't think that this was just lucky. I think Sam had a plot and I fucking love it. It's so hot. It's great. It's great. And I wrote down... This dumbass has shot his own dad. Who's stupid now, you backwater bitch? And then before he can shoot again, Sam attacks, elbowing him in the face so hard it's like Monday Night Raw. And I wrote, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? It's the people's elbow on repeat because he is smashing him again and again and again. And this Bender goes down like a sack of redneck inbred potatoes. And then there's a dramatic cut to Sam locking them up in their own cages. And I was like, that's badass.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. So both the sons are in the cages now, and the dad's still on the floor, and Kathleen's kind of looking after him, pointing a gun at him. And she says that Sam can go, and he looks concerned because I think he probably knows what she's going to do.
Oh, yeah, he 100% knows. He 100% knows, and he's like, I understand, though.
Yeah.
So, there's an exchange between Kathleen and Pa Bender where she's holding the rifle on him and he's on the ground and he is so fucking evil in the scene, y'all. Like, this actor is amazing, or we should be concerned because he's so believable. She says, "You hurt my family." Oh, sorry. He says, "You hurt my family. I'm going to bleed you, bitch." And she says, "You killed my brother." And he says, "Your brother. Now I see." And he's like smug about it.
He's laughing.
And yeah, she's so angry. And she says, "Just tell me why." And he starts laughing and he says, "Because it's fun." And then he makes the most evil smile. I can't even tell you. It's just horrific. And then he laughs again and Kathleen shoots him. And I wrote down, "Good call."
Yeah. Also, when he said, "You hurt my family," I was like, you're a serial killer, mate. Like, you've hurt lots of people's family.
Yeah.
Like, the hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy in him is off the charts. He's all like, "We give them a fighting chance." It's like, you starve them, let them out in the dark, and put tripwires down what?
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, poor little serial killer. Now you're the one who's got their family hurt." You can see the injustice with it. So Sam and Dean are leaving the house and Kathleen is leaving the barn, and they kind of meet up again outside. And she says that she shot him because he was trying to escape. And I wrote, "They totes know what she's done."
They totes know. Oh my god, like totally.
And I bet there's a lot of concerned glances around at each other. They're just like glancing at each other.
Well, the silent communication is she's being like, "So I avenged my brother's death." And they're like, "Well, really, you shouldn't kill people, but these people are worse than monsters. Therefore, we should probably just let this one go." Like, that's like the silent conversation that everyone's having. And so Sam and Dean come out and she says, "Where's the girl?" And he's locked in the closet. "What about the dad?" And she says, "Shot trying to escape." And I write down, "We know that they know." And I was like, "She looks full Xena." And I was like, "That's hot. That's the thirst trap." So Kathleen lets them go. And I wrote down, Kathleen is the final girl and I love her. And she's so teary and heroic at the end because she knows what's happened to her brother now, and what's happened to her brother is awful. And I think there's probably a part of her that thought that killing them would bring her peace, like killing Pa Bender would bring her peace.
Yeah, but she says that, doesn't she?
Yeah, but then she does it and the grief is all still there and it's all still real, and we know that she's going to carry it for the rest of her life, and she's so sad, and it just breaks your heart.
Yeah, it was really well acted. She said she thought it would be easier, like knowing what had happened to him, but it isn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did really feel for her. And I had a note to say about how, she's also probably sad because Sam and Dean are back together. So Dean got his brother back.
Yeah.
And she did help him with that, but she's not going to get her brother back.
Yeah.
Also, the bit just before that, she's a bit harsh because she says that the state police and FBI are going to be there soon, and that they will want to speak to them, and she suggests they're long gone by them, and then they ask her for a lift and she says no.
Okay, here's the thing is I don't think she could have realistically given them a lift anywhere, because she has to be there on the scene to lie about how she just killed this guy and how he was running away.
So she's staying behind.
She has to stay behind because she's going to have to answer questions. And probably also go and, like, I don't know, roll him over and make sure it looks like he was trying to run away from her. She's got to set the scene. So, so she's like, "No, you got to walk." And Sam's like, "That's fine by me." Sam gets the vibe. And they start walking away, and they're walking away down this like long, dark, spooky road. And it's such a great metaphor for just the whole show. And they're talking to each other.
This was really cute, this bit.
So good. And Sam says, "So you got sidelined by a 13-year-old girl, huh?" And Dean goes, "Oh, shut up." And Sam goes, "You're getting rusty there, kiddo."
Like you said to him earlier.
Oh god, I love it. And then, like, the way they film them walking down the road, there's no end to the road that they're walking down.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I was like, supernatural is forever. That's the perfect metaphor. That's the perfect place to end the episode. I love it.
Yeah. I do like the ending the ending scenes, there's always like a nice little light-hearted bit. Well, most of the time anyway, at the end.
Yes.
Should we end with episode games? Feeling hot or not?
Fuck no.
Love yourself some benders.
Fuck no.
No, definitely not. Episode scare rating, I give it a 10. It was really scary.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, no questions asked. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. What's your favourite quote?
Yes. So you got sidelined by a 13-year-old girl, huh? Shut up. You're getting rusty there, kiddo.
I've written 2 down. I'm going to choose one. I think it's the "Oh, eat me." Oh, no, wait. You might actually might.
Yeah. I love that. That's so good.
What was your favourite thirst trap?
I think controversially, it might be Kathleen dropping down from the ceiling to kick ass.
Yeah.
That might be the top thirst trap for me for this whole episode. Like, there are Sam and Dean thirst traps, don't get me wrong, but I think she has won. She has won.
I've got quite a few. I think it's either going to be Sam trying to break out the cage. No, it's going to be right at the beginning when they're in the police uniforms.
Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot about
Sam's
that.
hair.
Fuck, yeah. That's a good one.
MVP.
Kathleen.
I was going to say Kathleen. Yeah.
Kathleen all the way.
Yeah. We didn't really have any motel, did we?
It was just that bit right at the beginning. And we don't really see the inside of it because all the scenes are outside. So there's only that one moment when they're inside it with them, where they're interviewing the kid and the mom. And it's kind of spooky, cool. So I guess I give it like a spooky, cool 5.5.
Okay. This was a fun episode. I liked this one.
It was great.
It was fun to record like this actual episode as well. As watching it really the episode. Was. I had a little bit of supernatural news to share.
Do you?
I mean, show news.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out the fact that, because it's quite topical at the moment, because it's been everywhere, the fact that Supernatural is kind of taking over The Boys.
Yes. And they keep talking about doing a reboot.
I did see. Did you see the thing? I posted something to our stories that was Jared and Jen on a podcast talking about it, and he said he's up for it.
Well, I've as you know, comfort watch the con footage of their interviews. Anytime I'm upset, sad, bored, whatever, I watch convention stuff. And for the last 3 or 4, they've said, we want to come back. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my days. I cannot fucking contain myself. All the fans are losing their shit. And the way that they're talking about it strategically, consistently makes me think that Kripke is like,
talking about it.
This is a great idea. And they're both on board, which is all you need. So I feel like there's only a matter of time.
Just need a network.
Yeah. Before the old gang is back together. And when you think about the fact that they had 15 seasons, all of the fans want them to come back. They're global. It's a wild amount of interest. Like the number of Supernatural podcasts, even now. Like, look at us. It's 20 years later, and we're still talking about it.
Yeah,
I'm so fucking psyched.
But I quite like the idea. Did you watch the thing that Jared's interview? Because I liked his idea, because he was saying he doesn't really want it to run for another 20 years, but he would quite like it to do like the Gilmore Girls did, and do some feature-length episodes just to kind of wrap it up. And I like that idea.
Yeah, because also they've said that they didn't exactly want it to end exactly the way that they ended it. Like, they understood the choices that were made in the writing room, but they felt like they have such a strong sense, because they are Sam and Dean, that they had such a strong sense of things. And because of the limitations of COVID, they felt like the opportunity to do things the way they really wanted to was sort of taken away from them. And so they're both really quite happy to return and do more.
That's
and
cool.
I've seen so many interviews with them talking about it. So my hopes are high.
Yeah. And in the meantime, there's a little reunion going on The Boys. So we've already got, Jensen's already on there. Jeffrey D. Morgan's been on there, and I read something literally 2 hours before we started recording, because up until that point, Jared had been saying that he would be up for it if he was asked. And there was something today. There's something where he says he has confirmed that he will be on the next season, so season 5 of The Boys. So I was like, yay!
That's so exciting.
Supernatural reunion.
Yeah.
And The Boys is such a good show. And that's Kripke as well, I think, isn't it?
Is
that
why? That is why, yeah.
That's why I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we end here?
Yes. So this was a good episode. I hope you enjoy it. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. We would be very grateful. And if you know someone who would enjoy it, please share.
You can find us on Instagram at The Witches of Letters Podcast, or you can email us at thewitchesofletters@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay safe out there, have each other's backs, and always keep fighting.